Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the 2015 Mystery Quilt presentation this afternoon. We've got a nice little treat for you. We were able to pull Annie away from designing the next 2016 Embroider Block of the Month to have her kind of talk about Mystery Quilt. She is our co-founder and designer this year. Before I get her on the line, though, we are going to launch a quick poll for you. Because we want to know out there in the audience, let me get the question right, because the day before yesterday I read this wrong. We want to know if you've done Mystery Quilt with us before or if you're new to this. So we're going to launch this poll, and if you could just take a quick minute to let us know, is this your first Mystery Quilt? And I'm going to hand it over to Annie.
Thank you, Aubrey. I wanted to tell all of you thank you so much for coming to the webinar, and thank you so much for looking into our Mystery Quilt. We've done this since 2009, so this is our 6th or 7th year. I can't remember. It all kind of blends together. But anyway, thanks for coming, and the girls are going to show you all kinds of stuff about it. They're not going to show you the final layout, of course, but you'll get a little bit of a sneak peek to kind of get an idea. The reason we started doing a Mystery Quilt was basically because we had a lot of you out there who would write us and tell us that you did not have a Block of the Month dealer near you, but you wanted to do something of ours. So that's when we started to do our Mystery Quilt, because we wanted to have it available to absolutely everybody. And so there you have it. That's kind of the part of who, what, where, why, all that. But if you've never done one before, the girls are going to go over telling you how to pick out fabric. And one of the new things this year that we wanted to do is, if you're not familiar with us, a lot of our designs, since they have embroidery in them, they kind of tend to be better if you use a fabric that reads as a solid. However, I wanted something with print this year. I was getting kind of tired of using solids and all the heavy stitching, so we made this one fun where you can just pick out a line of real beautiful prints and then a solid background, but the girls will go over that, so I don't want to get into that too much. And another thing that's new with this Mystery Quilt that we've never done before is that we have 5 different block sizes. So we have 5-inch size, 6-inch, 7, 8, and 9-inch block sizes. So I think there'll be a lot more variety for you. It's a little bit more work for us, but I think you'll have the ability to make something exactly the size that you wanted. The other cool thing about our Mystery Quilt is that you have a final layout, but then you also, all the blocks that are in there make one block wonders, and they'll talk a little bit about that also. So I'm going to turn this back over to Aubrey and Janet. They're kind of like my technical support girls. So I'm going to turn that back over to Aubrey, and they're going to talk to you a little bit more about different parts of Mystery Quilt. Thanks again for coming.
Thanks, Annie, for kind of sneaking away from design work to introduce yourself and a little bit about Mystery Quilt. We have the poll results all in. She's joking because she's got a black shirt on with threads all over her. I'm like, they can't see you. Thanks for answering the poll question. It's always kind of nice to read the audience and figure out how many of you have done this with us before and who's kind of new to this. And it looks like 47% of you said that you're excited to learn how this works, and so you're kind of new to the process, and 53% have done this before. And for those of you who have done it with us before, you know, each year I think we get a little bit smarter on how we deliver files and that sort of thing. So you will learn a little bit of something in this. It won't just be the same old, same old. Where's the beginning? Hold on a second. This thing was up, your dashboard. Oh. Okay, here we go. What we're going to talk about today in the presentation is, you know, what is a Mystery Quilt? If you're in that 47% that's kind of anxious to learn a little bit more about this, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the timeline for Mystery Quilt season. And then we will also go over just a little bit about what's in this fabric and thread key. We'll talk about weekly prizes and discounts, which if you have already purchased Mystery Quilt, you got one of those in your email today, this afternoon. We'll go over the different options because there's different ways that you can participate and the costs that are involved in that. And as you're going, you might have some questions along the way. We'll let you know where to direct those. And then Janet's also going to go over how to access your files and set up your account if that's something that you'd like to learn how to do. Now, one question that we seem to get frequently is, do I need to take classes at a local quilt shop? And as Annie kind of mentioned in the beginning when she was introducing Mystery Quilt, this is set up so that you can work from home at your own pace and you don't have to take classes at a local shop, unlike our Embroidered Block of the Month program where you do go in for classes. So that's kind of nice if you don't have a dealer around you. And also, if you do have a local quilt shop that you like to use, we do ask that you list them as your local quilt shop. It's actually when you set up your account, Janet will show you. If you've ever done that before, no need to worry about it. It's automatically in there for you. And if you're just not sure, you could always list it in the order comments of that section. All right, so what is a mystery quilt? Well, it is actually a secret quilt layout, and it's beautiful. We've had the luxury of seeing it here in the office, but it was really kind of kept under wraps until you get into the final week of Mystery Quilt. So overall, Mystery Quilt for 2015 has 64 blocks if you choose the optional border layout, which we'll talk about in a moment when we go over the options and costs. If you don't want to add that optional border around the edge, you can just tackle the one that has 36 blocks in it. And each Friday, you will receive a new download that includes more of the blocks. So you'll get a little bit more each week, and you'll kind of start to see the quilt take shape, but you won't know until the final week, week 6, what the entire layout looks like. So it's a lot of fun. If you haven't yet decided to participate, like I said, week 2 is going to be tomorrow. So if you purchase it at any time, you're going to basically get caught up. So if you purchase it tomorrow, you're going to get weeks 1 and weeks 2 right away. Then it'll kind of go down the line that way. So it's a secret little layout, and you won't know until the final week, week 6, what you're actually making. All right, for our quilt details, Annie also mentioned we have more block sizes available for Mystery Quilt this year. So the block sizes that we include are 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9-inch blocks. If you're new to HoopSisters, I know there's some of you that are new to how Mystery Quilt works, but if you're also new to HoopSisters, everything that we come out with, all the patterns are multi-formatted. So it doesn't matter what type of embroidery machine you have, you'll be able to participate as long as you have at least a 5-inch sewing field. And if you'd kind of like to know a little bit more about your specific machine and which HoopSisters block size it can actually make, you can visit our website. It's hoopsisters.com/FAQ. Now, there's a ton of different kinds of machines out there, and Janet does a really good job of making sure that we have all those listed. So, yeah, we try to. So forgive us if there's one missing. Just shoot us an email. We'll look it up for you. But that way you can kind of know which size can my machine make. Okay. Now, the other question that we seem to get a lot is, how big is this quilt going to be when I get done with it? And really it depends on a couple different factors. The sizes will range from 30-inch by 30-inch to 70 by 70, depending on, which of those block sizes you choose between 5 and 9, and also whether or not you decide to add those optional border files. So let's get a little bit closer view here. This information is in your Fabric and Thread Key download. You can either download it for free, or if you're doing Mystery Quilt, it's actually just in your files. I'm not going to go over them each one by one, but you can kind of see the range in size depending on what block size you choose and whether or not you choose to add the optional border. All right, and for our timeline, we're in Mystery Quilt season right now. If you're in the 53% that said you've done this before, then you know that we're kind of a month ahead right now. Usually this is something we do in June, but this year we're kind of mixing it up a little bit. We're doing this May 1st through June 15th this year. So you can purchase it right now instead of waiting until June 1st. And our current Mystery Quilt pricing is always a steal during Mystery Quilt season. So right now, and Janet will get into the options and costs in more detail in a moment, but the current pricing during Mystery Quilt season is $69 or $89. If you want a CD shipped to you, it's a little bit more, but that's basically the breakdown. After June 15th, these designs are actually going to separate into 8 different HoopSisters designs because there's a lot of fun different areas of this quilt, and they're all going to become their own. And when they do that, they're ultimately going to retail for $40 each. So with 8 of them coming out of this, you would be looking at $320 for all of it. So it really is a great deal. I think I definitely don't do math, but Janet tells me it's about 72% savings if you participate during Mystery Quilt season. So definitely make sure that you do it before June 15th. And one thing that we always tell people is, yeah, we know everyone's going on vacation and they're out and it's nice and all that good stuff. Don't let it stop you from saving the money because you can always purchase it now and sew later. You do not have to be, it's not like you have to turn in your homework each week. You can definitely just go in and download the files and save them for a rainy day and be walking away with $320 worth of HoopSisters designs for only $69 or $89. In terms of picture posting, we put this on our timeline slide also because we kind of leave breadcrumbs for people as we go and try to get people to do Mystery Quilt through June 15th, but we also want to keep it a mystery. We don't want to ruin it for anyone. Some people just have to know and they want to know right away, but then there's other people that like the mystery and they like kind of figuring it out as they go and even guessing at the layout. So we just ask that you hold off on posting pictures until June 15th when Mystery Quilt wraps up. But once you do have pictures, we love getting them in our email at mystery@hoopsisters.com. And then we try to do some cyber quilt shows if we get enough pictures submitted. And it's basically just a fun way to kind of show off all your hard work. So I'm going to ultimately turn this over to Janet, but before I do, we have another poll question for you. One of the things about a mystery quilt and not knowing exactly what it looks like is you might be a little freaked out about picking fabric. So let us know. How do you feel about this? Are you freaked out or are you ready to go? And as soon as we get some votes in, hopefully we can get everyone's votes in. They're coming in right now, and I'm going to turn it over to Janet and let her share these results with you and then kind of ease your terrifiedness about picking out fabric.
Good afternoon. Well, it looks like everybody voted here, so I'm going to post this so you all can see. And you are all about even, with a little bit more being a little nervous, but don't be. You really can't go wrong in this quilt. So let me get you going here. All right, so just a few tips on choosing fabric. Just the best thing to do would be to find a coordinating fabric line that you love. Choose 4 prints from that line for your fabrics 1 through 4. And then most fabric lines also have a background fabric that goes along with those prints. You can choose one of those, just anything that matches your 4 prints. And that will be your background fabric. In regards to your backing fabric for the back of your quilt, you could use one of the 4 prints. You could use that same solid color if you like. You could pick a totally different one. That's completely up to you. And so is the sashing fabric. You could have that match your backing fabric if you'd like, or be something completely different so it stands out. Whatever you decide to do, you really can't go wrong with this quilt. And you see a little picture there of just an example of some prints that you could potentially use in this quilt. I already kind of touched on the costs for Mystery Quilt, but Mystery Quilt only is $69. That's just for the 36 blocks for Mystery Quilt. If you decide you'd like to add on that border to make the 64 blocks, it will be $89. And then we also have the option of Mystery Quilt with the border and CD sent in July. That's $94, and that includes the shipping. So we send those out in July just to make sure that we don't ruin anyone's mystery. But like she also said, if you decide to wait until after June 15th, you will spend $320. So it is quite a deal if you decide to do it before June 15th. I know she also mentioned you should have received an email if you've already purchased Mystery Quilt today with a discount on an item that you would probably need to finish your quilt. So make sure you take a look at that. And just because you've joined us on this webinar today, you're entered to win our All Access Pass, which means you would get the entire Mystery Quilt for free. Don't worry, if you've already purchased it, we would just refund your money. But if you haven't purchased it, you would get it all in your account for free. Now, I know some of you said that you hadn't done Mystery Quilt before. I don't know if you all have an account yet or not, but I'm going to show you real quick how to set one up so that you're ready to go. If you go to HoopSisters.com, this is our home screen. You're going to click on Create an Account. And then scrolling down is just basically your personal information. Make sure you spell your email address correctly. I know sometimes we have issues with that and people not being able to get into their account, so just make sure that you spell it correctly, double check it, add a password that you'll remember. And then the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is listing your local sewing store name here. They do get fun credits from us, so make sure you list someone that you like to frequent or purchase things from in that box there. But once you've done all that, you'll click on Create My Account, and then you'll be able to purchase things, and it will save your shipping and billing information. So if you're interested in Mystery Quilt, you're just going to click on the 2015 Mystery Quilt tab. And you'll see there we've got 38 days and 17 hours left until it ends. But you'll scroll past that and you'll come across the different options. The first one being that free fabric and thread key Aubrey mentioned. If you'd like to download that and kind of see what you're getting into fabric-wise, that's available there for free. And then here's your 3 options of purchasing Mystery Quilt. You have Mystery Quilt with the border, Mystery Quilt with the border and CD, and then just Mystery Quilt, which is the 36 blocks with no border. So you would go ahead and add one of those to your cart and proceed through the checkout. And then to get your files, you would already be signed in. So I'm going to sign in here. So you will already be signed in like this. And let me get rid of this for you. There we go. Okay. So you're going to, you can either click up here on Order Status up above our logo, or click on View Order Status over to the left. And that will take you to a list of all of your past orders. We only have one in here, but if you've purchased more than just Mystery Quilt, you'll have a list of orders there. We do ask that you click on View Order Status, especially if you decide that you would like the CD, your order will be marked awaiting shipment until those send, and you will not see that order in completed orders. So make sure you click on View Order Status, and you'll be able to download the files. So once you've got your list of orders up, you're going to click on Download Files next to the option you chose. And it will then bring up the list of files that you're able to download. So like Aubrey said, this week we've got week 1. So you have, if you've decided on the border, you'll have the optional border there, and then week 1. And when you click on that, it'll just start the download process to your computer. But then come Friday, tomorrow, you will also see week 2 listed there. So each week we'll just keep adding to the same order. So in order to access your files each week, you're going to go through the same steps where you click on View Order Status, Download Files, and then each additional week will be added in here for you. All right, and then we're going to get to some sneak peeks. Here's a couple of close-ups from blocks that you will be getting. It also shows you the print versus here's your background fabric, which Annie chose white. And then here is actually what you will get, or what everyone got last Friday, or when you decide to purchase it, week 1. This is your week 1 block. You'll see there's 4 different blocks done here, but there's also a good view of your print fabrics versus your background fabric, which is white. So I also wanted to show you on our website, you can go on our blog. If you click here, Mystery Quilt blog, and it will have different things on here as well. Sometimes we post the deals or some just important information, but we do also have this week, well, and for all the different 6 weeks, you'll have a fun puzzle to do that will show the weekly blocks. So those are always fun to do. And we also should have where I thought she usually does, and she might be working on that, but the crossword puzzle clues. So make sure you take a look at our blog as well. So for some help along the way, if you come across some questions or having trouble with the block, you can definitely email us at mystery@hoopsisters.com. We try to return your emails within 48 business hours. Obviously, this is kind of a busy time for us, so we try to do that within 48 hours, if not before. But we also have videos that go along with each week. The link for your videos will be in your weekly instructions. You can click right on the link and it'll take you to the video, or you can copy and paste it into the internet and it will go there for you. They're not available for everybody to see, so you would have to click on that link. But here's what the video would look like. Annie goes step by step into all of into making the block. So you can check those out. You could have that up on your computer if you'd like while you're stitching, just as another option for you to be able to have some help. And then I wanted to show you here on the right-hand side, this is one of our one block wonders from a block you will be getting. And like we both had said, that these quilts will break out into different designs and you'll be able to make a quilt just from those blocks. So this is one of those options. If you repeat the blocks, that's one of the quilts that you could make potentially from the Mystery Quilt. Sorry. But that is our presentation. Please make sure there's a question bar there on your webinar information. Make sure you enter any questions, and I'll do some Q&A here. I'll give you a chance to type those. Okay, so I either put you all to sleep, or I don't think we're just that good. So make sure you please put your questions over there. I know that there's some different questions. One thing I would like to mention is we did have in our instructions the option for wool batting. That is in addition to our battleizer. So you would just end up hooping your battleizer, stitching out the placement stitches, and putting your wool batting down if you decide to go with that option. You don't have to. It just gives the quilt a little bit of dimension. So if you'd like to add it, you can. I know we've used it on our block of the month this year as well, Sown Seeds. So it's fun. I did just have a question come in. What is the difference between battleizer and normal batting? Our battleizer is batting and stabilizer all together in one. It doesn't have the normal pull compensation that you get with batting, and it also allows you just to hoop the one item instead of hooping two different things and having more of that shifting in your hoop since we only have the one item. The battleizer, you can purchase it from us on our website, or our HoopSisters dealers carry it as well. So definitely check them out first. If they don't have it, they can always get it in, or we can ship it to you as well. We have it available in 5-yard packages and 15-yard rolls on our website. I had someone ask if we like using the wool batting. We do. We've used it in our samples here for Sown Seeds and this mystery quilt. It, like I said, this provides that extra texture to your quilt and just gives it a different look than a normal flatter quilt. So, but it really is up to you and what you like. So, go ahead with it if you'd like. I'm not sure why they used wool to cotton. That is just what they chose to use, which is what they recommend. So I truthfully do not know the answer to that as to why we prefer wool to cotton. I had someone ask what brand of monofilament we recommend. We actually sell one on our website and to our dealers. I am not exactly sure what brand it is. Let me see if I can get to our website and show you. what we have. There we go. It looks like it's superior. But if your local sewing shop sells something different and they like it, you know, go with that, especially if it's easy for you to get a hold of. So whatever works best for you. You're right, Jane. She said wool is poofier than cotton, and which is probably why they decided to go with that one. I had someone ask when you will get the download for the border. It is along with week 1. So as soon as you decide to purchase Mystery Quilt, you will get the border as well if you go with that option. Okay, and I also had a question about what color threads you needed. For example, does thread A contrast or blend the white fabric? Let me take a look at our fabric and thread key here. It would be listed on there as to what you should do. It looks like your background fabric, you're going to want your thread to match. The other, your 4 fabrics, your 4 printed, they ask you to buy matching or coordinating embroidery thread for that. So basically all of them would be matching. Okay, I had a good question about posting your pictures. She wanted to know if she could post her finished quilt if she gets it done in August. Yes, anytime after June 15th you can post your pictures of your quilts or blocks or whatever. Just not until June 15th, but after that, go for it. We love to see them. So like Aubrey also mentioned, you can send them in to us. If we get enough, we'll do a cyber quilt show probably this fall. So, you know, if you post them on Facebook, also email them to us, mystery@hoopsisters.com, and we'll get you added. Virginia, I got your question. Aubrey is looking to see here, so we'll let you know. Darlene asked the crossword if you post your answers. No, it's just something fun you can do. You can print off the blank one, fill them in as you go. Sometimes I Virginia, I have a feeling you were probably one of the first people to purchase and download. So go back into your account, log in, and click on that View Order Status, and you should see the border in week 1. The border we didn't get in there right away with week 1. It was a little later. So go back in there and try that. And if you still don't see it, either email Aubrey or I, and we'll get you taken care of. Lorna asked if these will work with hoop along. No, you do have to. You're going to hoop your blocks separately, and you'll have a completed block when you're finished. So you wouldn't be able to do the hoop along. I'm sure I haven't answered all of your questions, so make sure you type them in there. There's always somebody else that would like to hear your question and answer also. Sometimes you just don't think about them. But if you do think about a question later, make sure you email us at that mystery@hoopsisters.com, and we'll get you an answer. All right, well, I won't take up any more of your time. I don't see any other questions coming through, so I really appreciate you coming and sitting in and listening to us.